start with the pledge?
Yes, you do.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hope everybody's had a chance to read the minutes. Next motion. We have a motion and the minutes, and a second. Second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. First up, we have a resolution for petty cash for Oswego County Motor Vehicle Office.
Yeah, so fairly straightforward. We built a bigger DMV at Oswego. We've got to put cash in all those drawers. Just keeping the office open so we get all of the windows staffed and open ready. That's all it is.
Okay. Everything's going fine with that?
We're training. It's a real test right now, but we're training as quickly as we possibly can. So I think we have 7 or 8 new employees on staff. By the 16th. The 16th will be our last one that fills all the vacancies. So
Okay.
we're getting there.
We'll make a motion. Okay, you got a motion?
Second.
First and second. Any further discussion?
I'd just like to make a comment.
Sure.
I guess Backus as staff have done a fantastic job. Both my wife and I have dealt with the new GMB.
Yeah.
For some business and also visited his clerk's office downstairs for some things. And the staff's top notch, and just throw that out there that thanks to staff for all the work they do.
Much
Thanks to you for
appreciated.
helping me out as well.
Yeah.
I had missed you.
Much appreciated. Thank you. I'll share that with you.
Thank you. So we have a first and second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we have a resolution for the 2020 tax property auction. Kevin, would you like to speak on that?
Yeah, real quick, I just want to say, this is just a normal resolution for every time we do the auction. I did include the properties. Some of those properties will become, have probably about 4 or 5 will come off because of deed issues or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. And also I want to mention that I brought somebody up with me that really kind of carries it she took this from cradle to grave, as they say, in business. She starts it you're starting next year's in February, at the end of February, for next year's auction. So she took this one last February through.
Mm-hmm.
And her name's Cheryl Boynton. If anybody remembers, back when I started, and Morris, her father was chairman of the legislature, Floyd Boynton. So she comes from good stock. She actually has started just before I did and has taught me more about the foreclosure process and the real property process than I could ever thank her. The other team that has been doing an extreme amount of work, obviously the real property, Betsy's team. This has just been an enormous amount of work. It's 3 times the normal amount of work that we have to do this year. So that's 3 times more properties. Mike, you're gonna see 3 times more work. And I wanted to bring Cheryl up just to have the committee, see her, get to know the face. If you have any questions in the future, please reach out to her. She knows more about this. And Richie's office also helped out. It's not a good thing that we have to take all these properties to auction, but unfortunately it's something that was mandated by the legislature when they went to 2-year. And it is what it is. It's a 2-day auction. We're starting it on a Thursday night for pre-registration. Then it goes into Friday all day, Saturday all day. Properties don't sell. We will, which hasn't happened, we'll figure out another means of whether do another auction in 6 months or another means of getting rid of them.
How many total properties we have?
300, well, roughly 309. I mean, it's gonna probably drop down to about 300.
Okay.
Based on issues. And again, I can't thank the legislature enough for supporting it because I know those phone calls. I believe everyone probably will receive a phone call from somebody that didn't understand the process.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to send them to me, and then I have to explain it to them, and we'll take it from there. So, any questions from the committee? Go ahead.
What do you accredit the increase? I mean, you said 3 times this year.
It's going from the 4 to 2 years. So the people really, the old process was 4 years, and some of the people realized that they could kick the can down the road. And unfortunately, now it caught up to them. The interesting thing too is, they may have done it once or twice in the past, but the interesting thing is they act like they never knew we went to a 2-year. So, we send out notices. These people are noticed in the almost middle of the year about paying their taxes. And they'll come into January and then all of a sudden, wait a minute, you're serious. And it's like, but you mentioned that we had 600 properties on the list January 1st. So 300 people, half of them came in roughly 3 weeks. And they figured it out. We are serious. So that's really it all is, 4-2.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Again, thank you very much, committee. Appreciate it.
You go first and second. Right. No. So, all right. So I'm looking for a first.
I make a motion that we accept this resolution for the 2020 tax collection.
Okay, we have a first and second. Any other discussion on this matter? If not, all in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next up, we have a resolution appointing individuals to the Oswego County Land Bank Corporation and Board of Directors.
Mr. Chairman, I'd make an amendment to the banking representative instead of the village of Pulaski. I believe it has to be the town of Richland.
Right. Okay. Everybody have that information?
I'll second the amendment.
Okay. Any other discussion on the amendment? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Back to the original amendment?
I make a motion that we would accept this resolution appointing these members.
Okay.
as stated.
I'll second it.
Then a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Carries through. Next up, we have a resolution opposing the governor's proposed accelerated renewable energy growth and community benefit act, where he's trying to basically take the power away from communities and put everything in his hands. Bill, you got anything you want to add?
Yes. This is a last minute budget bill that was submitted by the governor after most of the hearings were already done. What this does is basically the Article 10 siting process for solar and wind projects would be significantly changed to the point where the state would have full authority to place solar and wind projects into any community, and the communities would not have much of a say, if any at all. It creates a new state department, and that would handle all this. Right now, the way Article 10 works is there are individuals from the local community who are mandated to sit on a siting board that would, so if the community has input into whether or not a large energy project could be sited in that community. It also, right now, there's also communities have local laws on the books and ordinances that allow them to guide that type of development within their own communities. Those would all be nullified and voided, basically, if this is adopted. So basically, the local communities would not be able to have a say or provide any direction on energy development within their communities as they do now. This has particular importance for us because there is a wind farm being proposed in Redfield in Oswego County and in the town across the line in the town of Worth and Jefferson County. That's described in the last whereas. This is Atlantic Wind is proposing a 350 megawatt Niagara wind farm. It would clear cut large portions of about 20,000 acres of the pristine Tug Hill area, which is a forest recreation area that we depend on for ATV and snowmobile and hunting, hiking recreation. The other potential risk of this project is that area is the headwaters of the Salmon River, which is the premier sport fishing area in North America that a lot of our tourism economy is driven on. Contamination there could destroy that fishery. And a lot of people don't think about how can a windmill contaminate anything. Windmills are full of oil and machinery, and they do leak. And there has been accidents where hundreds of gallons of lubricants have leaked out of windmills and into the water tables. So town of Redfield has been fighting this for a long time. Under this type of proposal, Redfield would be taken out of the picture, Oswego County would be taken out of the picture, and this state office that's not accountable to us or the communities would make the decisions whether these projects go forward. So that's why we're suggesting a resolution opposing this and get it on the books before the budget's adopted.
I'll make a motion to put the resolution forward, get it on the table.
So we have a first, looking for a second.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and second. Any other discussion? Worse?
Yes, I would just like to bring up the fact that the Industrial Development Agency, in the last couple of months, has had over 5 or 6 projects. And you wonder why we get them at the Industrial Development Agency. Is a fact we have pilots on them. They come in with pilots. They want a sliding scale of 10 to 12 years in pilots. And there's a lot of these coming on, and I'll tell you part of the reasons I believe so is we have a lot of small farms, and they got 20 acres over here. They can put that into this project and 20 years of income rented by that. These are the kind of things that are going on, as I see it anyway. So Phil's right on when he says this is being taken away from us. And it's not a good thing because there's a lot of them coming on. There's a lot of, I'm surprised the amount of projects that are coming on. And I think it's because, as I say, farmers, small farmers, we got a lot of them, when you think about in that area up here, that will depend on this kind of thing to give them supplemental income.
Richard?
Yes, I just like, I'm not a member of the committee anymore, and I did spend 2 terms on it. But let me just say this, my 2 towns, and I can't speak for all the towns, but my 2 towns of Hastings and Schuylkill they have done a lot of research. They spent a lot of time dealing with their town attorneys, looking up different laws and situations of how these solar farms should go in, and both of them have excellent rules and things like this and regulations on how to put these in. To take that power away from the towns, I have a problem with that. And, they can put these just anywhere. And I know personally I wouldn't want it, but I know, I got a couple calls yesterday about this article, and I know, well, you don't read the paper, I get that. But yesterday in the Post-Standard, in the second section was a large article about what's going on in Cuyahoga County, where they want to put in this huge solar farm like that down by Senate, New York. That Senate just outside Auburn. And that is going to stimulate a fight like you wouldn't believe, because already in different parts of the country, the people are going ballistic about this, and they should. My family farm goes back 7 generations. Do I want to see the farm next to me putting in $3.5 million or 3.5 million megawatt facility I have to look at? Now, I know if I want it, I can buy it. I understand that. But on the other hand, our towns each have their own individual personalities. And for the state to come in and say it's already from here, because I don't hear about them putting a lot of them out there in soy set down in Long Island. I don't hear that. Now, maybe they are. But taking fact that the protection of our area, we're not any different than the people up in the Adirondacks. And they protect that area very well. And it's our home, and it should be our decision.
Terry?
So this is either the second or third time in my tenure as a legislator that the state, not the full state, but the governor and downstate have stepped in and tried to pervert Article 10 in in such a way that would take the total local control away, and it's unacceptable. It's I don't care what side of the island you're on. It's up to the localities to determine where these projects at this major of a scale are located. Now look at Joe Smith, who wants to put a small scale one in the backyard. There's procedures for that as well. So why are we going to say, because it's a large scale project, are we going to expedite it, move it forward, and not give anybody the right to say where that goes or how safe it is when it's being put in? That's why we have zoning boards, that's why we have planning boards, that's why we have laws throughout these towns to help protect our citizens from that. So I'm very upset that the governor has put this forward. I don't think this does any justice to anybody in upstate New York, and quite honestly, you're right, Legislator Klein, it's one of those, not in my backyard, let's put it up there. And to go along with the, with the situation in Conquest, God bless the guy who's able to take 2,000 acres and the vast majority of it and have an investment of this magnitude on his property, and he's been his whole life, 72 years, farming and having a very rough life, at times trying to see how he's going to make ends meet. But that's 2,000 acres of ag production that's taken out. No farms, no food. We got to remember that as well. So we have to find the happy medium on this, and localities need to have a say.
Yeah, Phil, is there any discussion about this at NISAC or other municipalities?
We don't have it.
Oh, right, okay. I was just trying to gauge the pulse of where other counties are falling on this cross line.
Last week it came out.
Okay, so no, okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, doesn't matter.
I totally agree with the intent of the resolution. I'll tell you, I'm just stunned at times with things of this nature that people don't understand the technicalities of it, so we don't need to go into that. But my only comment is the last bullet on the front page of the resolution. Typically in any of these things, they're gonna have something good thrown in. So this piece established undefined and unquantified host community benefits and create workforce training programs, and then parentheses subject to available funding, which are geared toward non-existent. Anything's got something good in it, that would be a good thing if it did happen. So do we want to keep that in there? And again, I'm not trying to make some, whatever, influence or nitpick a resolution. But if this thing does come around, we definitely would want to take some advantage of whatever. Again, I totally agree with the intent of the resolution. Totally disagree with the state government coming down and saying, we got blah, blah, blah.
Well, I think what we're saying in this resolution, this is my intent of the whole thing, was undefined and unquantitative, subject to available funding. So we don't even know if there's gonna be any available funding for it. We don't know to what extent they're gonna offer this, if at all. Where currently, we do have that, definitive answer going into a project.
Okay.
And so the other reason that bullet's in there is because of the bullet up in front of it. The legislation impacts our ability to establish pilots or other tax agreements with these, so that endangers our ability to receive a fair tax revenue is questionable, and it's been replaced with very this is undefined promise of host community benefits, instead of allowing us to chart our own course of what we want to get from these companies. That's why it's.
Ed, yes. Mike?
This Article 10 procedure that we deal with now, it's not an easy process. How that works, supposedly there's a fund for reimbursement to the localities that are hiring people, technical people, lawyers, stuff like that, to review the whole project. And the town of Redfield, during the project, they've been involved with this measure one time for now be well over a year and a half, years. It's been doing it for a year. The town itself has invested a considerable amount of money and stuff like that. Supposed to have some reimbursement. It just doesn't look like this will happen at all. So the locality, 50 grand or something like that. And they never took a lot of consideration into where the location decided the tower is going to be between Worth and Redfield. It's above the water aquifer that feeds this whole area. It's the headwaters of Seine River, and it's a very critical area. There's no roads, there's no utilities of any kind. It's woods, and in this case here, up to this point in time, there's never been a wind farm industrial wind farm installed in a wooded area for obvious reasons. The cost of building the thing astronomically higher than putting out Lions Fields, of course. No roads, none of the town roads, or actually the county roads in that area either, would ever take the traffic necessary to build this whole site. So it's an environmental issue as well, and if they increase the water temperature of the river, it'll pretty well kill the fishery from the reservoir at Redfield to the Lake Ontario. So it's a critical thing, and for him to take away the home rule aspect of the whole thing, which he's been trying to do for a while, it's just is unheard of. So I'm certainly 100% in support of this resolution.
And that whole area has no major electrical lines anyway.
No,
You take
there's
the fuse
absolutely
on
no
on the building that.
They would have to be, that's part of the proposal is to build that line also, which would go down the eastern end of our county.
Yeah, so that's, none of that's been addressed properly, and so I'm 100% in favor of this resolution.
Any other discussion? Versus? Yes.
Just to echo what everybody else has said, the biggest underlying thing here that I'm glad everybody's taking notice of it is the damage that could happen to home rule. Home rule is the only thing really the local municipalities have, including counties, is a check and balance against the state that could quite frankly become tyrannical. I mean, if we had no say over what's happening with us and everything's coming out of Albany, we've already got the unfunded mandates. Now they're trying to attack home rule again. Where does it stop? And at what point do we completely lose our voice as a people in this state? So I support this resolution because this is the first step in standing up and say, you know what, you're done. We are the people, we are in charge. We elect you, we put you there, just like the people put us here. It's time to let the people have their voice and keep their voice.
God, you have any?
Good.
We have a first and second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that's all we have on the agenda.
Make a motion to adjourn unless Betsy had something.
Not that Betsy, that Betsy.
I just wanted to tell Legislator Wilbur, I really enjoy being part of that Farm Bureau. I learned so much from those.
Oh, the farmland protection board meeting. You can chair it next year.
Don't say too much.
You love it that
My motion.
I'll do it, Jared.
All right, we got a motion to adjourn, looking for a second. First and second, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a good day.
Nothing more, it's shaking.